Hello and welcome to a new video. So tonight I have an outdoor session, golden hour, sunlight. It's a maternity session and they're bringing their dog. So I'll be sharing a little bit more about that session, behind the scenes video clips and the final images. And now there's one thing I want to test after doing this session. As you know, as a photographer, you spend time, of course, prepping for a session, then doing the actual session, which is what you love the most, photographing people, looking through your camera, just seeing beautiful pieces of art that you want to create for these people, and you're just shooting, and sometimes you're going in an overdrive and you're shooting a lot, just like many clicks during the session. And then you come home and you create backups and you copy the files to your hard disks and whatever to your computer. You go to sleep, you know, you're all excited because you have seen the images through your camera, through your lens, and yeah, you can't wait to create beautiful pieces of art for your clients. So the next day you drop your kids off at school, you turn on your computer and you start editing. But before you can start editing, you have to make a selection because you were so excited and the light kept changing and it became more and more beautiful as you were shooting, and then the dog started doing really cool stuff, and then outfit changes, and they bring in like an ultrasound photo or baby shoes or whatever, and you just keep on clicking, so you end up with like 600 images. In my case, I'm not giving the client 600 images. I make a selection, I edit those images, I upload them to Pixieset with my logo on it. Then they can select which images they like the most. Limited amount of images are included in the session fee. They can order more, stuff like that. But I have to shrink down these 600 files to less files. When I do a newborn session, I usually have around like 250 clicks. When I do like family portraits as well, sibling photos, detail shots, whatever. Sometimes less, 150 clicks. Yeah. And then I end up with maybe 30 images in the gallery. Cake smash session can be between 200-300 photos I take during the session. Sometimes less, depending on what the baby's doing. Sitter session, sometimes like between 150-200 clicks. I end up with around 30-35 images in the gallery. What I usually do is I have the folder of images and I have them open in like my finder, and I see like little squares of the images, so not full size. And then I have like, I make them quite large, but still that you see like 4 images in your screen pretty much. And then I see which ones that I like. I double click them to open them, and I see if they're sharp. I zoom into the eyes to see if the square of this softbox is like super crisp and sharp. And then I copy that file if I like it and it's sharp. So I do that throughout the folder. I don't know how much time it takes me usually. Not that much time, but still it takes time. And then I later on select all the copied images, and they're usually like 30 images, something like that. Always more than 25. I promise 25 images in the gallery to my clients. I usually have like 30, sometimes 35. With outdoor sessions, I usually click more. I click 300, 400 times, sometimes even more, really depending on the session. So that's my workflow after the session. Today, well, today after the session, but tomorrow, maybe the day after, I want to test out this app that does it for you. So I think they're called like culling the images. So it's kind of like making a selection of the entire folder. So the app is going to do it for you, and they're going to see if the image is sharp and that it is like an original composition, so not like 5 of the exact same images. So there's variety, and I don't know how the app does it, but it recognizes faces, of course. Well, a lot of software can do that, but it also checks whether the image is sharp, in focus, well exposed, stuff like that. So the app I wanna talk about later and test is called OPTYX, and I'm gonna use the OPTYX 2 version, and you can download it for free, and I'll put the link in the description. And it's an app that has been developed by Iris Ventures. So yeah, I'm curious to see if that app selects a similar amount of images from the session and similar type of images, or the app selects completely different images. I'm just curious to see that. And if it selects almost the same images that I would select and it saves me a lot of time, it can be interesting to use that in the future because it saves time. Okay, so let's get ready for the session and I'll talk about the app later. It's evening, sunset. There's no sun right now. It's very overcast, cloudy. So the dog is going to do like a gender reveal or something. I don't know. We're gonna take some photos and like share the gender of the baby with something. And the dog is gonna help. So I don't know exactly what they planned because I told them maybe not like paper confetti because we're going out in nature, and yeah, you shouldn't do that because the birds are gonna eat it. I mean, you have some confetti I think that dissolves by itself in nature. It's like eco-friendly confetti, that could be possible. Smoke guns, yeah, we could do that if it's like environmentally friendly. But anyway, the dog is gonna do something, so that's fun. It's like a brown Labrador combination with another breed. Hopefully I can film a little bit behind the scenes. I think the dog who's coming today is called Amy. You're Jamie and you're not coming to the photo session. Okay, great session. It was so much fun with the dog. Was just so cute. So the dog was wearing like a blue little bow tie, which was super cute, and they brought like blue balloons. So now I'm excited to use the app. I already went through the images of the session and I selected the images that I would normally select to put in the gallery, and I already edited them a little bit, and now I wanna see if the app selects similar images and yeah, maybe see why an app would select those images. So I'm going to show you my screen as we start up the app and go through it together, and I'm just excited to see how many images it would select from the entire folder. I have been shooting a lot of images during the session, just also because I want to test the app. I want to see how many images it's going to end up with, and I was just so excited. So I was just shooting a lot. Doesn't matter. So I ended up with like 600 files, and now I want to see how many images the app is going to select for me, and how many and if they're like similar to the ones that I put in there, or if I'm missing some, or I'm just like confused why the app would add those to the gallery and leave out others. We'll see. So what the app does is it groups images together, like similar images, and then you end up with the amount of groups, which are pretty much the amount of files, I think. And it makes sense. It's kind of like 10% of what you've been shooting. So with like 600 images, it's gonna end up with around like 60 in the gallery. I had a little bit less. I mean, you see a lot of similar shots. You see that I usually click like 3 or 4 times, especially in the beginning of the session, because I want to like test out the light, how it's hitting them, and I just want them to feel like relaxed. And sometimes if I ask them to do something like, oh, stand in front of each other and maybe touch the foreheads or give a kiss on her forehead, they feel a little bit like posed and awkward, and then they start like smiling. So then I click a little bit more, so you also have the smiles in the photo. And you can also see really fun during the session that first it was like a little bit overcast, and then the sun came out, and then the sun was setting, so you see the color of light changing. It's becoming warmer during the session, but that's okay because I really like that. So you have almost like different decors, because in the beginning of the session the light is a lot cooler and then it became warmer, but I'm still gonna use the same edit pretty much because I don't want all the images to look exactly the same, because I like that we were shooting around sunset because the light is changing the whole time. And you can change, I think, how similar or identical you want the photos to be. I think maybe that also results in how many auto groups you're gonna get, but I'm just gonna leave it the way the app was when I opened it. Okay, so now the images are pretty much in the app. So I think now the only thing I need to do is call all in the bottom. Now it's going to like group the photos and I think like give them stars. You can already see stars appearing, so it's gonna rate the photos with like sharpness and exposure and like facial expression and composition. So you can see I see similar shots as well, and then like missing some shots because when they were like looking at the belly they were not giving stars, and then both like look pretty similar. So I would have selected those differently if I would have done it myself. But now you can see that none of the shots where they're walking away from the camera are selected, only when they're walking towards the camera, like 3 of them. So maybe they were sharper, but still in my gallery I would want some photos when they are like walking away from the camera and when they're walking towards the camera. So, but I mean, you can always add one of those walking away shots and then remove one of the walking towards you shots when you are exporting them. So here you can select them by the number of stars. Like none of them have 5 stars, I don't know why, but 4 stars. Yeah, we got 4 stars. And you can see that there are a few of all. Like it selected 63 photos and given them 4 stars, and it's a nice like overview of the session. I wouldn't add like 2 ultrasound photos, just 1, but you could always remove 1. But it saves you a lot of time checking whether the images are sharp and well exposed and you don't have their eyes closed. I think especially when you're like calling photos from a wedding, it can save you a lot of time. But it's already done, it goes pretty fast. So now I can just select all the images and then export them to a separate file. Yeah, if I go through to 1 star or more, I have 150 photos from the session. So that's of course your own choice, like how many photos you want to have in your final gallery. So okay, I'm just going to select all the photos that have 4 stars, 63 photos. So now I'm in the folder OPTYX selection, and you see the images that I mean they're all unedited. I mean they're the JPEG files just because that worked faster. Yeah, I would recommend not having the app do it all for you. But yeah, check them yourself as well and see if you want to add maybe another photo and leave out another one. But it can definitely give you a really good head start as far as like checking for sharpness and eyes open and well exposed. Okay, and here you see the images that I selected. Some similar and some a little bit different. So but yeah, on the website you have a lot more information, and you can also adjust on which pillars it is judging the photos, or like how similar you want your selection to be or how different. So do I like the app? Yes, I do. I want to test it one more time with a studio session, like a sitter session. So I'm just going to import them into the app, and then I'm going to see which photos the app would select, which would end up in the gallery for the clients to choose from. And yeah, it's really interesting to see. Some images it is not including in the final selection that I would definitely include. Others it is selecting which I don't particularly think deserve a spot in the final gallery, but that's okay because you can always add photos that you like more and leave out some that the app like more. But at least it gives you a good overview of the several images that would be fun in the gallery and which are sharp and well exposed and stuff like that. So it can definitely save you a lot of time. I mean, if you're like photographing maybe events or weddings, it gives you a good head start as far as checking how sharp and crisp and good the images are. So do I like the app? Yes, I like it. Check it out. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it's not something that you would use. Yeah, it was fun to test it. Show it in a video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Love reading your comments. And then hopefully I can see in the comments. You can see me in my next video. Let me know in the comments, do you use a similar app, or you just do it yourself, or you use both. So yeah, just let me know, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.